Maybe musicals. It's really hot in here.
Yeah, it is getting warmer.
But if we're, as we suspect, outside of the normal constraints of causality, how can there be any kind of variance in temperature?
I don't know. But it did happen before. Do you remember? There was that fan that time.
Yeah, right back at the start.
Yeah.
Do you think the fan is the key out of here?
Ooh. Now there's a question. Yep. Okay.
Papa?
Oh, thank you.
I shall leave those there and say, Buono estende.
Hola, mi amigos.
Hello and welcome back to the Friday edition of Maybe Movies, or again, as I'm sure I mentioned on Wednesday, Maybe Musicals, as we move on to our second musical of the month, which is lovingly called
The Pervert of the Opera.
He did the naming this month, not me.
You can tell, can't you?
This is going to be fun, or possibly not, because it's
structured so differently.
And our protagonist is not one who likes hanging around in the shadows.
Well, not much.
No.
Not when there are other opportunities available.
This is where we get to find out how difficult it is for him to have a good time.
Yes, he might find it quite difficult.
Not as easy as he would like, so to speak. A couple of prelims. Well, again, I've got some ideas, some prelim ideas, but they are things that we can explore when we reach the relevant point in the narrative, if you want to look at it that way and just launch into it as we find it from the start of the film.
No, I'd prefer if we did it now, because that might save any confusion down the line.
Okay, sounds good. We are saying that he is Frankenfurter. He is from Transylvania.
Yes. He is an alien looking for a good time in 1800s New Paris.
If we're sticking with elements from the Phantom, he's arrived here. He's obviously arrived here alone. He doesn't have any backup. Oh, there's an option. He's arrived here alone. He doesn't have any backup. So there's two ways we could do this. One, somehow he is either kidnapped or whatever by this carnival, and that's where young Madame Giry finds him and takes him to the opera. Or Madame Giry is his riffraff. Literally, she's an alien.
I think. Oh, all right, okay. Doesn't that make things a bit complicated with Meg Giry? I like the idea of her being the riffraff, but maybe she's not an alien. Maybe she's.
Yeah, but we could do this. She's riffraff. Meg is magenta.
Sort of, yes, yeah. In a sense, yeah. Because let's not forget, he's Transylvanian. He's an alien. He knows about technology. He's a creative genius.
I can make you a daughter.
So it's more like her being the assistant in awe of his ability. I mean, because that's kind of how the character of Madame Giry is in the opera anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and it just applies to his alienness and his technological creativity.
So if you wanted to go down the rabbit hole in that respect, for whatever reason, on their home planet she couldn't have children, so they come to Earth, and actually while we're here, I can make you one if you want.
Oh, that's a very nice little backstory. It'll explain ridiculous levels of demotion despite his demented nature.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Let's go with that. All right, so that's one thing clarified.
That basically covers pretty much everything that I had, really. So they've arrived here.
Oh, and him being an alien explains why he's the only one who's not singing all the time. It actually works.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are moments when people speak, but not. I mean,
they're usually brief, and then if the speech goes on for more than a sentence, it usually turns into singing.
Yeah, I think about the only time from Act 1 that I can think of where there's kind of more than that is really like when Raoul goes into the dressing room and says, "I'm going to go and get my carriage" and things like that.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. Anything more than that, and it's like, nope, into song.
Yeah. It's one of the things that when I was taking notes and on the structure of the story, I was really struggling. Because a lot of the time, the music doesn't stop. The theatricality doesn't stop. It just segs into a different motif or theme or something like that. Makes it quite choppy and difficult to pin down on what's actually going on. But yes, so he'll be this fish out of water, and it'll be signified by the fact that he doesn't sing every one of his lines.
And also it will be signified by gratuitous fourth wall breaks.
Of course, yes. Yes. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but you know.
I think that's pretty much everything to go in with. Have you got anything before we start?
No, I don't think so. Not at the moment.
So we open with the prologue in Paris in 1819 and
the auction, or 1919.
Thank you.
Yes, the auction. Shh. It's the spider fronts again.
They only come out in the summer. We've learned something.
Okay. I think they've stopped now.
I'm going to get my hammer.
I'm just horrified for the day that they just drop on you, you know?
Let's concentrate on this.
Yes, let's.
And drink more, because then we won't feel it.
Yes, numb the pain that is inevitable.
So, yes, as you quite rightly corrected me, 1919, we get the auction from inside the opera. With the prologue itself, had a couple of points, possibly. Okay. No disrespect to Paul Brook, who is a wonderful character actor who's been in so many things, who plays the auctioneer.
Oh, I see, right. I always loved him in Four Weddings and a Funeral. It's always my favourite one.
Yes. For our purposes, could we just move him to one side and put Charles Gray as the auctioneer?
Just as a little nod?
Yes.
Well, it's just the one scene, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Oh, go on then.
You know when they bring out the monkey?
Mm-hmm.
I had a list of different things it could possibly be.
Okay, I didn't even think about that. Already we're onto the subject. Yes. Oh, this is going to be difficult to navigate, this one. So, all right, what are you thinking then?
So object the one could either be a pair of platform shoes.
All right, okay. Right, yeah.
Option 2, an electric knife.
Okay, right, okay, yeah.
Or very glittery corset.
Glittery corset, I think.
Thank you, because that feeds into a thing a bit later on, which we can say is the glittery corset is what's on the dummy of Christine, as opposed to the wedding dress.
Ah, right, okay, yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking, well, they're all things that are associated with Frankenfurter, but the idea of the object of the monkey is that it was something that brought comfort to the Phantom. And then, so my first thought is, what of those objects is going to bring the most comfort to Frankenfurter? Brilliant. And I feel like the corset is the most fundamental. It's like his first layer of self, isn't it?
Yes.
Almost everywhere he goes, there is a corset of some sort involved.
I thought something silly, and you give it depth of meaning. Perfect.
Layers like an onion.
The other thing was the chandelier as well.
Mm-hmm.
We can keep the chandelier. It's iconic to the Phantom, but could we replace it with the machine, the one that Rocky grabs hold of when he's singing Sword of Damocles?
Oh.
That might be stretching too much.
Well, I mean, I like the callback to it, but it's seriously not something you're going to see in Paris.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. If he had something like that, it would be down in the catacombs. It wouldn't be. Yeah.
I think it was something. It's because if you look at the background of his lair, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, and that could easily be one of them.
In which case, then the other thing I had about this, then if you're going to have the chandelier, it's not lot number 666 like it is in the film. It's lot number 69.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And with Gray's voice and that hesitant enunciation, just the right levels of triple entendre.
Yes. And then the chandelier rises.
Colour comes into the world, and my arm hairs all stand up on end because that bit of music just gets me every time. And we meet the new owners.
Fantastic casting again with them, Simon Callow and Kieran Hans.
Absolutely, yeah.
Interestingly enough, I've never seen this version until we started thinking about it for doing this.
Of course, yeah.
The conductor, played by Murray Melvin,
been
in a film with him. It was a locally made film that was made in 2012.
Well, I'll be.
Called The Grey Mile, which, how can I describe it? It has a similar kind of setup to Bubba Hotep without the supernatural element. It's a couple of retirees in an old people's home.
Okay, so it's what's real, what's not, but it's not about the supernatural, it's about
It's not at all. It's a couple of retirees, one of which is Murray Melvin, who is possibly ex-MI6, and they figure there's something shady going on at the retirement home.
Oh, right.
The other main star for that, who was playing an ex-London gangster, was Paul Shane, and that was the last thing he ever did.
You've never mentioned this before.
Have I not?
No.
Really?
Really?
You know Vince Newman, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, Vinny.
I've met him a few times.
Yeah. So we were playing twins, and we were the muscle. We were the muscle for the woman who's running the place.
Although I will say, tangent alert, guys. Tangent alert. Wow. Okay. Nice touch. Lovely connection. 6 degrees of separation.
Exactly. So my big question then with Act 1, and I suppose with which is going to underpin the whole thing. Why her? Why has he taken it on himself to teach her? I mean, what is it that he's trying to teach her? Because the Phantom has been a factor in her life since her childhood. Right.
Yes, but that's because the stories her father told.
Right. So first of all, then I suppose we have to ask, how long have they been in Paris?
The story, it was when she was a girl, but her age is very indeterminate in the Phantom itself. She could be as young as 15 or 16, or she could be in her 20s. It's difficult to know. So it might only be a couple of years. But as to why her, she's this perfect emblem of innocence and incorruptibility. The sweetest, most forbidden fruit possible to Frankenfurter.
I did question mark that, but I wasn't sure.
Perfect. I have to admit, I hadn't thought about it, but now you ask the question. Yeah, no, she's so innocent. She's that perfect unplucked fruit, and he wants the first bite.
Of course he does. There's a moment somewhere in that first act, quite early on, when I think it's when they first mentioned the opera Ghost. I think it's Carlotta says this has been going on for 3 years, so that at least that gives us a time frame for our version.
Well, there we go then. Yeah, so there we go.
Yeah. What I'd actually written down was, has he basically worked his way through the rest of the chorus line, but she is, as we say, the pinnacle of virginity?
I imagine that for years he had taking his pick of the chorus girls and things like that. Or this young girl started to flower into womanhood, and he started to see her potential and became obsessed with her. Yeah. He had to have her. But he couldn't just take her, because that's not the point. He has to be able to seduce her.
Instead of, they go, the opera Ghost is, the opera Pervert. From all the chorus line, because they all know.
I'm kind of not entranced, but I kind of like the idea that publicly they refer to him as the Ghost. Okay. But backstage, he's the pervert. The girls call him the pervert, but everybody else calls him the Ghost. Because all the girls know what's going on. Having said that, why should it be just the girls? Frankenfurter doesn't care.
Exactly.
Why? Oh, sorry, almost got caught in my own little mental trap there. Yeah, no, it wouldn't matter. But I just mean that, like, publicly they would say the Ghost.
Because they can't explain what's happening, so yeah.
Yeah.
But I suppose then part of Madame Giry's role is to actually leave not this one. No, not this one. You can't have this one.
I mean, this is the heightened era of societal credit. And a ghost is a slightly scary, maybe a slightly embarrassing story. Pervert lurking in your opera is a scandal. Would
like to add another little bit in here, if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Are we still going to go with the convention of the letters being delivered?
Well, yes. I mean, because he's caught in the trappings of the time, isn't he?
Of course he is. In which case, then, I would suggest then let's replace the skull wax seal with Patricia Quinn's lips.
Oh, yes. Once again, gold star there. Yes, absolutely.
You have the set two with Carlotta, and she...
So maybe he's trying to make her famous as a way of wooing her. But that's part of the wooing. Look what I can do for you. This is what I can give you.
I can give you what you want.
Yeah.
What are you going to give me in return?
Yeah.
And we all know what he wants.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Also, it explains his animosity with Bouquet, by the way, because he has a very good way with the girls, you notice.
Because Bouquet is around the chorus girls a lot, so he's probably picked up a lot of their stories.
Yes, of course.
So he's not only has a way with the girls, but he's probably been trying to send him up as a fairy.
Probably. Well, yeah. I mean, because even the way he tells the story, it's like, ooh, boogity, 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 but he's like leering at the girls at the same time. It's all, we're not playing seriously here. So there's always that underlying mockery. A straight man like Bouquet is not going to know everything about the Phantom. He's just going to know something about the pervert. He's only going to know some things because he wouldn't be susceptible to Frankenfurter's wiles. He's far too straight.
But to a certain extent, he does figure into this then kind of in the role of Eddie. Because Eddie was probably quite straight as well.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yes.
So there's no reason.
Yes, he's the parallel to Eddie. But he also inspires this jealousy because he's got this relationship with the girl that Frank can't maintain because of his secrecy.
Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought that there are so many
little details?
Yeah.
Layers, baby. Like an onion.
So we get
to the first performance. Yes. And Think of Me. And the first moment that Christine Daae sings and gives us our first true song of the musical.
This is what I mean. You know, there's that slight sort of David Fincher moment where they go down through all the different layers.
And he's listening down in the sewers. Yes,
it's Frankenfurter. He's not going to be happy with us seeing the top of his head. He's probably going to look up and give us a bit of a wink.
Oh yes, of course, as you said, little nods to the camera. And basking in his success at finally gaining Christine a front stage position, he thinks to make his advance. Angel of Music becomes, well, he's sort of an angel of music still. He's an angel to her music, isn't he?
He is otherworldly.
I'm just wondering if the song's going to change or if it's going to remain kind of the same.
I think that would stay the same. I don't see any reason why not, because up until this point she's never actually met him, has she? She's only ever heard his voice. Yeah.
Because she's the one who's obsessed with music. So to her, it'll be the angel of music. So he's going to be playing this game with her, isn't he?
Of course.
So that's going to more or less stay the same with a few minor alterations.
Next bit that I've got, which I did again make a note of a possible change in the lyrics, is after Raoul comes into the dressing room and says, "I'm going to go and get my carriage," and then leaves.
Yeah, the little Lottie moment, yes.
Yes. So, as I remember it, the actual lyrics go, "Insolent boy, this slave to fashion." Mm-hmm. Basking in your glory, or something like that, isn't it?
Yes.
To which I changed to, "Interesting boy, this slave of passion. Bring him to me for an orgy."
Oh!
in that he is the dashing hero, and but Frankenfurter is a sucker for a pretty face.
He is a sucker for a pretty face, but he's also jealous.
Yes, that's true. Yes, because you didn't, thinking about it, yes. Because he didn't try and take Brad and Janet at the same time. He went to them independently, didn't he?
Mm. So, insolent slave of passion thinking to join our orgy.
Yes! Yes! Definitely. Gold star.
Something like that, anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, we are not going to get advertisements on this.
No. When he takes her... Ooh! That's the thing.
That's still the little Lottie scene, because that's when she's trying to explain to Raoul, because then he gets locked out, and then the Phantom opens the mirror and takes her down into the catacombs.
So I imagine that bit there, again, it's sumptuous, that scene. It's so avant-garde, where he's walking down the end of the tunnel, and you've got the arms with holding the chandeliers.
I know, they turn and move. Yeah. It's so hallucinogenic, the whole experience.
I love that. And what I was going to suggest with that is, as well, occasionally there'll be an arm that doesn't have a chandelier that just reaches out and strokes them.
Oh, no, every other arm. Yeah. So every other arm, one's got a torch and the other one just reaches out and strokes either of them as they go past.
Yeah, you get the weird bit with the horse, which I didn't quite understand, that they lead her on a horse for a little bit and then they jump.
And it's a bit like the bit with the chandeliers. I think the idea is that Christine is a little bit delirious. She's finally meeting this angel that she's been hearing about since she was 3 years old. And in her imagination, there's this amazing, wondrous, magical experience happening. Oh. I think that's where that comes from. I don't think it's actually happening.
Right.
I don't think there's a horse in the bowels of the opera. She's giving herself over to the delirium of the idea, the dream of the angel of music. And so it's all becoming dream logic for her.
Christine's in delirium.
Oh, crap. Can't hear anything.
You're right. That would make sense. So yes, it's how she perceives this would run. I mean, in Phantom, that explains how when they're on the gondola, if you like. So very quickly, there was a moment I thought when I was watching it earlier, I was thinking, how can we do this differently? I must admit, I was looking for things, so it may not work. So obviously, in the original, he's punting as you would do.
Yeah.
But for some reason, my head went straight to a very little thing at the end of Ace Ventura, when he's got to where Dan Marino's being kept, and he gets on this little boat, and he pulls out a little fan. And uses it as a motor and travels about 5 feet. And I was like, "Can we do that?" I was like,
No, you can't do that. That's too.
That's too.
We're
silly.
still in 1890s Paris or 1880s Paris, whatever it is.
But I did think there's that bit, and it fits into what you were just saying there, where you get the chandeliers rise out of the water and then the lights just come on. Mm-hmm. You could get these very bizarre looking contraptions come out of the water, and they're like massive Tesla coils, and then they just spark up.
Now we're down in the layer. We can start showing off the weird sci-fi shit.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. And there would be multiple mannequins. There would be the mannequin that is the Christine mannequin, but there would be like at least 6 other mannequins that are just his spare costumes.
Should we just throw at the end of there, throw one in a wheelchair?
With a leg stuck out. Yeah. Putting a lot of callbacks into this.
Well, he's extravagant enough to...
Yes, he is. Yes. So that kind of brings us to the music of the night. And I like the idea of the music of the night, because the music of the night, of course, is the dark music, but it is also the music we make in the night. Hint, hint, hint. So it's got a double entendre kind of built into it already.
It does. I've written obviously a change for a line, but I must admit I can't remember where it came in the song, and looking at it doesn't trigger my memory. But I changed it to I think it was actually something he said, and I think it's the way it's delivered. Mm. I think it's one of the lines that the Phantom sings in that kind of duet with Christine, which was "Let your fantasies unwind." So it would be "Let your fantasy."
Oh yes. Oh, the delivery is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different style, a different genre of singing, but also because of the constant overemphasis of double entendres and double meanings, it's going to come across so differently.
There's one thing that we do need to consider is now that she's met her angel of music, and it's almost just like an avalanche of double entendres. Obviously, a lot of this she plays up within herself as being part of the magic, because it's divine, and obviously would accept it to a certain degree because it is, in her understanding of it, it is other from her and not of the mortal realm. At which point does it divulge from being divine to being infernal?
Okay, right. I just suddenly think I see what you're saying, and the part of the problem is because Frankenfurter isn't masked.
And that was the other thing I had at the end.
But I think I have a response to that. I think, so we would have him actually dressed like the Phantom to begin with. Not necessarily masked, but dressed like the Phantom in the cloak and the cape and the fine clothes.
He likes a cape.
And the unmasking would be a moment... Oh, no, just the cape, actually. He'd be clothed in the cape. Like he is at the very beginning of Rocky Horror.
Yes.
So the cape is... It's round him. So it'd be like one of those capes that has the high holes for the hands to come out, so she can hold his hand, he can hold her hand and stuff. But she removes the cape and reveals the inner freak.
Oh, yeah. Take another one, man. Definitely.
Yeah.
Because I wrote down, what does his unmasking signify?
It's an unveiling of his true inner self. So take off the cape. What do we have?
Yes, he's not in the early 70s. He can't be as liberal here. He has to hide him. He has to hide his...
Yeah, there's a certain veneer of respectability that's required, isn't there?
Have another one, man. No, that's fine. I completely missed it. It's right... It's literally there in front of you in the film. So that is the reveal.
Yes, because he can no longer pretend to her that he is this beneficent angel of music. She sees him for what he is. So that, damn you little Delilah. I was wooing you and you fucked it up.
It's not just that she knows, it's despite the fact that he's decided to hold himself away underneath the opera. If the outside world
knows of what he is.
Yeah, yes. in this day and age.
Yeah. That's why he's cultivated this ghost thing, Yeah. He's trying to be a mystery.
Brilliant. But that brings us, as you say, that does bring us to the end of Act 1.
The terms have been defined. The villains have been revealed.
We're left with him trying to make some kind of recompense and try and get his game plan back on track, if you like.
Yes, which is more or less what happens with the Phantom. Yeah,
she's now got to decide. Oh my God, what is this thing that I've given so much of my life to?
But has still taught me so much and given me this opportunity. Mm-hmm. So she still feels, in her innocence and naivety, that she owes this creature something, and he can play to that, and of course he can, because that's Frankenfurter. He loves manipulating people.
We've kind of gone a little bit off our general kind of format in terms of like trying to picking specific scenes to focus on, but again, we're doing musicals. We've never done this before, so
we are working out as we go along. The structure works differently. You can't just pick one thing in isolation and have that reflect the rest of the movie, unfortunately.
No. So hopefully you will forgive us for that. But excellent. We are off to a flying start for the Pervert of the Opera. And as always, we will be back next Wednesday.
Wednesday indeed, yes.
For Act 2. I really should have done this the other day. And I'm really sorry. I completely forgot. I was having too much fun. For me at that time, having a good time was easy.
Didn't make your face ache?
No. No, a little bit belated, and I do apologise. I just wanted to say happy birthday to my brother, who celebrated a particularly important birthday last Saturday. Sorry I can't be there. Unfortunately, constraints such as this and other work things have kept me lashed to the wheel of banality, but I will catch up with you as soon as I can.
Alrighty guys, so as always, take care of yourselves. We'll see you next week, and TTFN.
Ba 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 ba.